going, everybody? Tuesday, April 20th. So just to take a top-down approach real quick, looking at SPY. Got a bit of a pullback candle above the 9 EMA. Nice trend. Does this lead to something bigger, more of a pullback, or do we continue higher? Keeping the levels simple. Prior day's high, 416.74. Also knowing that all-time high is above, 417.91. Prior day's low, 413.79. We're kind of trading right at that right now. And then also knowing where the 9 EMA is on the daily, because that can be support, 411.87. Lose the 9 EMA, does look like it has some downside room. So just knowing where that's at. Also taking a look at Qs. This is a nice looking chart. Just recently made an all-time high. Nice consolidation. So keeping it simple like always. Prior day's high, 341.58. Also knowing that a new all-time high is 342.23. Prior day's low, 336.90. And that also kind of coincides with the 9 EMA on the daily, 336.77. So feel like that could be some good support. If it takes that out, looks like it does have some downside room. Now getting into the watch list, looking at Tesla, like usual. Prior day's high, 725.40, right? Had a little bit of a sell-off yesterday, held some of the moving averages. So if it takes out that prior high, could possibly go higher. And if for some reason the market starts to roll over and there's some weakness, just looking at pre-market low, 701.70, and prior day's low, 691.80. Also knowing that the 20 SMA on the daily is at 680.12, so that will be support. Lose that, does look like it has some downside room. Also watching Baidu. If it loses this 208 just because it's support, hit it once, twice, 3 times, 4 times. How many times can it hold before it breaks? If it breaks that, this does look pretty good for some downside room, so that's the main level I'm watching. Also watching Netflix. It does have earnings, but this is a decent looking chart. It's had some serious issues right around this, 556 to 560 area. If it clears this prior day's high, maybe it gets going into a pre-earnings run. So really just looking at 556.50, which is prior day's high. That's the main level I'm looking at. Also watching NVIDIA. So NVIDIA's been on a pretty sick run and pulled back a couple days in a row. If for some reason the market is weak, it is right near the 9 EMA. So if it loses it, feels like it does have a little bit of downside room. So the levels that I'm looking at are the 9 EMA, 606.42, and then also 605, which kind of was the low of this candle right here. Loses it, looks like there could be some selling, especially if for some reason the market is weak as well. And then the last one on my list is Coin. So recent IPO, a lot of hype behind it. The last 3 days it has been consolidating, so it feels like it found some support. If it can take out this prior day's high, maybe it can kickstart some momentum. So 341 is the level that I'm looking at. So those are the levels, that's the list, and like always, I'm just going to wait patiently for the best setups. And check out Netflix. What a crazy move. Took out prior day's high and just went straight up. So that was a pretty nutty move. In a perfect world, it would have been nice to see this pull back, have like 3, 4, 5 minutes of consolidation, then take out the high, knowing the technical level is above, and take it for a nice scalp. But that's pretty insane price action, so no need to rush into trying to trade that. I'm just going to let it do what it has to do and see if it sets up at all. And check that out. Tesla actually had some okay setups. The first little quick flag pattern wasn't necessarily the cleanest. It did have a nice move through 722 for a very quick pop. Pulled right in, still held the 9. It did have a flag right here again, also knowing that prior day's high was above. So there was some scalps there, but I didn't want to press it really quick off the open, especially Monday being a decent day. I'm realizing that a lot of P&L comes from only a handful of days each month, and then I'm trying to be a little less active every other day and wait for things to look very good. Otherwise, don't pressure myself to have to take a lot of trades. But I do like to analyze each day, and there were some opportunities on these. Even if I traded really small and I decided these setups don't look that great, I'm a little unsure. They're still okay. They're not A+. I could have just sized down, maybe only taking 2 contracts, get some quick scalps, not make a ton of money, but still take the trades and have some nice winners. Taking some Tesla long towards the high. I'd like to see Tesla break the high here. Get through 727.75 area. All right, through 728. All right, I'm just coming out of that right there. So that was an okay trade. I got in, kind of got involved in a little bit of a pullback. came right to right around that 9 EMA, and then I saw it bounce right off 725, came right up to this decent looking flag. It was a little extended, so that was my only worry. And then finally, it broke that high resistance, had a pretty quick push, and just got out of the trade. And because the setup was a little extended, was a little far away from VWAP, it just came from right around 716 area. I took smaller size. I only took 3 contracts and just take the quick scalp. And yes, Tesla did go further. I missed out on like another 2 points to the upside. But the one thing that I make sure to do day in and day out is be consistent with my process. I don't care about how much I miss. It's the same thing. When I get into a trade and it starts to go in my favor, the moment it starts to speed up and I get a nice move, I just take those profits, because I would rather consistently make money majority of the time than constantly try to hold winners, get more of a move, and then deal with big pullbacks and watch profits just leave my account. I'm a big fan of consistency and a high win rate more than I am constantly trying to find the huge winner. And remember, the reason I do that is because that's what works best for me, which is the most important thing when it comes to trading. I am still watching Tesla, but I want to see a little bit more of a consolidation. This has been a big move from right around 715. So a little bit more time, and then if that could take out the high, it does look better. So I let that flag go without me. It just got there a little too quick. I wanted to see a few more minutes of consolidation. These high flags right here, the ones that, have come far from the low, a little extended from VWAP, this is where I tend to have a lot of my losses. So I'm trying my best to avoid chasing these as much as I used to, and more consolidation before I take that trade tends to make that probability better. The hardest part is just watching it go by, right? Not getting a ton of FOMO, not feeling like I'm really missing out, and just not feel the need to have to take every single little flag pattern or trade that's out there, because that's what can lead to me over trading, and then that's where I can give profits back. So I was watching Baidu right around this 208, but to be honest, I was looking at the price action, just looking at the level 2. There wasn't a ton of orders going through. It wasn't really going that fast. It can be a little spready at times, and I've already taken one trade on the day, and it wasn't necessarily the cleanest, and I came out on top. So I'm up. So right now I know this is kind of how I try to take an approach to things. When I'm up on the day, make sure to do my absolute best to play defense. Do not get reckless, take a ton of trades, start to overtrade, and then do what I'm sure a lot of people are guilty of doing, and I'm guilty of doing myself, where you're green on the day, even if it's not a lot, still green, and then you watch that go from break even or even red, and then you wish you didn't take those setups that weren't A+, that got you red, and then that right there sometimes is where you can spiral. I can do it, and then I start to take a lot of trades, and before you know it, I was small green, and then somehow I end the day really red, and then can't believe that I did that. So just being aware of where I am right now. And then also understanding what SPY and Qs are doing. So I make sure to watch them all the time. I have them on my left screen and just chopping around a little bit right now. So no clear direction. Maybe eventually they will choose a direction, but for right now, this price action, I don't want to be a part of trading anything while it's doing that, because that can make the trades tougher. Also looking at Qs, same thing. Just chopping around. It could be one of those days where it takes a while for it to finally choose a direction, and then maybe things will become cleaner. But I'm pretty good within the first hour. And if things are chopping around within that time, then I know I'm better off just taking what I can get, even if it may not be a big winning day, and then walk away and then live to fight another day. Because we all know that it only takes one day where the price action really picks up, where you can add a lot to your monthly P&L. Not getting super chopped up and pushing it on the days in between is everything. But also another thing, shameless plug. I just recently launched callmattdiamond.com. Just a simple call service. It's not financial advice. I'm not giving any sort of financial advice at all. Really just a way for, if you've been watching my channel for a while, or if you're brand new, to be able to connect with me and ask me questions about my process, how I approach trading, and everything in between. How I build my watch list, settings on my interactive brokers, settings on my Thinkorswim, indicators I like to use, questions about my YouTube channel if you're interested in that, and all of that kind of stuff. So if you're interested in that, it's going to be $99 for an hour. I do have the link below in the description, so feel free to check it out.
Order partially filled.
Going for the high day.
Order filled. Closing order filled.
So I did happen to take a bit of a sloppy trade, and funny enough, all my sloppy trades usually come after 30 to 45 minutes into the day. So I ended up getting long just before the high day break. It did pull back a little bit. I almost did get out as this was pulling back, and then right off 730 had the bounce, reclaimed the 9 EMA, still was above VWAP, but even then I was down. I mean, I was up a little bit on the day, and I know that I didn't go check the P&L because the last thing that I want to do is let that freak me out. I do know that I gave the day back and I was slightly red, and then as it reclaimed the 9, this nice candle right here got through 735, and I just bailed on the quick pop. So it goes to show that I am far from perfect. I try my best, but every now and then, sometimes I'll give things a minute or two. The market wasn't completely falling apart. It held above VWAP. It came right down to what was a lot of prior support right around that 730. Buyers stepped in. Tape started to speed up, get the pop, make the new high, finally in profit, and just bail. So just when I was talking about not that long ago, taking clean setups, played defense, I got a little loose. Lost it a little bit, got lucky, and whenever I get a little lucky, I know that that's the exact time when I need to walk away. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. 2 for 2, and one of the trades not being that good at all, but got lucky enough to make some money out of it. So now to go check out the portfolio, made 275 on the 730 calls and 260 on the 735 calls to be up 535 on the day. So that's it for me. I appreciate you watching the video. Feel free to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.